If you ever wonder what a true living room cinema actually feels like, this is pretty close to it. We're talking about a 98-inch display, not a monitor, not a projector, a full-blown wall-dominating, attention-commanding slab of mini LED brilliance that basically turns your room into a private theater the moment you power it on. And this isn't just about size, because size alone is easy. What makes this interesting is what's happening behind the screen. You've got Samsung's Neo QLED mini LED backlighting system working with thousands of tiny zones, controlling brightness with extreme precision. So instead of that washed-out glow you see on older big TVs, you're getting deep contrast, control highlights, and surprisingly punchy blacks for something this large and bright. And then there's the Vision AI layer. This is where things get a bit more modern TV brainy. It's constantly analyzing what you're watching, movies, sports, games, and adjusting tone mapping, color balance, and sharpness in real time. The idea is simple. You shouldn't have to think about settings. It just adapts. And in most cases, it does exactly that. Watching high dynamic range content on this thing feels less like TV and more like looking through a very expensive window into another scene. Highlights pop without blowing out. Shadows still hold detail instead of collapsing into black mush. And in bright rooms, this thing doesn't just survive, it dominates. But let's be real. A screen this big isn't just about picture quality specs on a sheet. It's about presence. When you sit in front of a 98-inch display, your brain stops treating it like a device and starts treating it like an environment. Sports feel like you're courtside. Movies feel like you're in the front row. Even YouTube videos feel weirdly cinematic just because of scale alone. And that's where the pairing matters. Because Samsung isn't just selling you a TV here. It's bundling in a serious audio upgrade with the Q-Series Soundbar HW-Q900F 7.1 channel setup. And this is where the experience jumps from big screen to home theater. The soundbar setup brings real spatial separation. Dialogue locks into the center. Effects move across the room. And the subwoofer actually gives you that low-end impact you feel more than you hear. Explosions don't just sound loud. They feel physically present in the room. And when both the TV and sound system are working together properly, it stops feeling like two separate devices and starts feeling like one unified system. One that's trying very hard to replace your local cinema. Gaming on this setup is a different kind of overkill. Input lag is low enough to actually make it usable for fast-paced titles. And the 4K detail stretched across 98 inches means you notice everything. From distant movement in open-world games to subtle environmental detail you'd normally miss on smaller screens. It's immersive in a way that almost feels unfair. Of course, there are trade-offs here, and they're obvious the second you start thinking practically. Space is the biggest one. This isn't fits anywhere tech. This is you design the room around it tech. Viewing distance matters. Wall strength matters. And your furniture layout suddenly becomes a serious planning decision. Then there's content. Not everything is mastered for this scale. Some older or lower quality videos will look stretched or reveal their limitations more clearly simply because you're blowing them up to a massive size. This TV rewards high quality content and exposes everything else. But when you feed it the right content, it delivers. Streaming platforms in 4K HDR, high quality Blu-rays, next-gen console games. This is where it comes alive. The combination of brightness, contrast control, and sheer scale creates a viewing experience that's hard to match without stepping into projection territory. And yet, unlike a projector, you don't have to worry about lighting control. Daytime viewing? Still solid. Bright living room? Still watchable. That's the mini LED advantage showing up in a big way. Design-wise, Samsung keeps it relatively clean for something this massive. Thin bezels, minimal distractions, and a focus on letting the screen do all the talking. Because at this size, it really is the centerpiece of the room, whether you want it to be or not. So what you're really getting here is not just a TV. It's a statement piece, a home theater replacement. We don't go to the cinema anymore kind of setup. It's not subtle. It's not minimal. It's not trying to disappear into your room. It's trying to take over it. And in a lot of ways, it succeeds. At the end of the day, this is the kind of product that makes you rethink what TV even means in 2025. Not because it's perfect, but because it pushes scale and immersion so far that everything else suddenly feels smaller. If you're building a premium home theater setup and you have the space and the budget, this is the kind of display that doesn't just upgrade your setup. It becomes your setup. All right, that's it for this one.